Voting for the first time can be intimidating. We spoke to professionals about what their advice is to first-time voters.
As you head to the count, I spoke with a political expert to see if it does.
New changes are coming to CAT buses early. We break down what that means for you.
And as we continue to cover the 2024 presidential election, we have nearly a week left to cast your ballot. And as you head to the polls, you might wonder, what does my vote count for? Thanks for joining us for Vol News. I'm Madison Sims.
And I'm Kyla Berry. I sat down with a voting expert to find out if your vote actually does count. As Matthew Hyde heads to cast his vote, he knows his vote is one out of the millions.
I think it does it at a lower level. Nationally, though, it's like a grain of sand, but everything technically counts.
Jenna Cobb is another voter who has her doubts about whether her voice will be heard as she cast her ballot.
In Tennessee, your vote doesn't count quite as much if you vote against what color the state normally is.
Election expert Katie Cahill says it's not about whether or not your political party will win the election.
It's about dressing for the game and making the other team fight you for victory. Okay, and so that is all what democracy is about. It's about the contestation of ideas so that we lead to more durable solutions.
Casting your ballot and letting your voice be heard, regardless of your political party, brings you one step closer to victory.
Those who are elected know that you didn't forfeit the game, you did show up, and that next time they may consider that your side might win.
Among many, Ryan Fan is one student who believes in the power each vote can hold in democracy.
Yes, every vote matters, like no matter what, because every election is important in our country.
Win or lose, your vote counts, but it all starts with casting a ballot.
Not a voter until you vote. So you're not a voter because you're registered or because you care about politics. You're a voter when you cast a ballot. And that is how you lend your voice to the democratic process.
Each vote is a voice lending a hand to American democracy.
Your vote literally counts in a democracy. I mean, that's the foundation of democracy, is that every person who is eligible to vote, when they cast a ballot, it will literally be counted.
In Knoxville, Vol News, Kyla Berry.
And sometimes the hardest part of voting isn't deciding if your vote counts, but it's understanding what to do on Election Day.
Alexa Durbin joins us now. Alexa, how is the university preparing their first-time voters?
Yeah, guys, there are plenty of resources available on campus, but the Howard Baker School has gone above and beyond with this election season. I spoke with the staff at the school about what they've been doing to help out the students prepare and educate them before they head to the ballot box. Students at the University of Tennessee are eager to make their voices heard.
I'm a first-time voter, so I'm really excited about that.
Senior Mary Andreos is a student at the Howard Baker School ready to vote.
The Baker School does a really good job opening up a lot of events and ways for you to be involved and kind of bounce ideas off of peers as well, aside from the media and networks and leaned statistics.
The college hosts events to educate students, their focus on policy and law in this election.
I think that having those events and being around people that are also vocal about their points of views and have done a lot of research themselves will put my ideas in perspective and even connect puzzle pieces and make my voting decision a little bit more clear.
Director of External Events at the Baker School, Courtney Thompson Hernandez, described how these events prepare the students.
We want everyone to be educated, and we always want to have a place where people feel safe and they can come and have conversations and ask questions and feel very informed.
The school wrapped their election series this week with keynote speakers talking about freedom of speech, the current economy, and candidate policies.
We really just want to make sure that students always have the feeling that they can come here, feel comfortable, ask questions. We are nonpartisan, so we really believe in stating just the facts, and so we are really proud to have that and be leading this for the university.
Hernandez relates to current students through her own experience and wants to create change for first-time voters today.
And there wasn't really any resources. You know, you had the news that you watched, but at the time there wasn't a whole lot. So what we've been able to really do is partner with our student orgs, SGA, and really help get the message out. We've done watch parties for the presidential debate and the vice presidential debate.
With events held at the Howard Baker School, students feel good voting for the first time.
After going to the events of the Baker School and keeping up to date, I feel very informed and very ready to vote. I'm excited and I feel confident.
Ready for Election Day? Ready to make their decision. On UT campus, Alexa Durbin, Vol News. You can head to the Howard Baker School to speak with the staff or members or visit their website at baker.utk.edu for more information on their events and early voting and what they're doing before the election day.
Alexa, this is such a great resource, especially for first-time voters.
Yeah, for sure. It can be daunting casting your ballot for the first time, but the Baker School is taking that stress away with these events.
Thanks, Alexa. Recently in politics, polarization is a major factor in elections, especially as the 2024 presidential race grows closer. It might seem like people are either far right or far left with no space for agreement.
I spoke with Associate Director of the Institute of American Civics about this polarization and the effects it has on American democracy.
Do you think Donald Trump is a fascist?
Yes, I do.
Political polarization occurs when the Democratic and Republican parties oppose issues.
Because he is really a sicko.
Starting to feel like the other party is kind of the enemy, not just a political opponent.
Dr. Bush, the Associate Director of the Institute of American Civics, has seen the political polarization increase over the years.
Years is more kind of extreme forms of it, where voters are thinking not just really well of their party, but increasingly badly of the opposing party.
Something first-time voter Matthew Hyde has watched grow between the parties.
The extreme ideas that we have on both sides, like they've both been pushed kind of their furthest.
These political disbeliefs are fueled by social media users consuming election-based content.
Social media has played a part. It tends to be not an area where there's a lot of nuanced conversation going on.
He says it's on voters to break the conversation, focused on putting the two against one another.
They can break themselves out of that mold partly by seeking out a variety of views when they're gathering information.
If this mold does not change, American democracy will be impacted.
Either we learn how to deal with that in a constructive way and how to tolerate that in a constructive way, or we aren't going to be able to keep the system that we have.
In Knoxville, Kyla Berry, Vol News. Associate Director Andrew Brush has written several books during his time at the university, all focused on each election. He's now working on a book that discusses the 2024 presidential election. It also can be daunting heading to the polls to cast your ballot for the first time.
Our Sydney Brackett spoke with a political expert to find out some advice you can take with you as you cast your vote.
For us first-time voters, this is a stressful time. We have many questions about the voting process and how to conduct our own research. I got the chance to speak with two professionals about the advice they have for us.
As voters, we constantly hear, do your own research. But what does this mean? How do you research a political candidate? For U.S. Congress in the 2nd District candidate, Jane George, she believes there's a simple way.
You know, the best thing you can do is go to our websites and then go to our social media.
Then there are ways you maybe have never even thought about before.
You can put together a gathering of folks and have a candidate come and speak. Most candidates will do that.
Public policy expert Katie Cahill believes the best advice for a first-time voter is to go vote, despite the anxieties that may come with it.
We are living at a remarkable time in human history, and the people that are going to inherit that future are the young people now.
Young voters often believe their votes don't count, so they choose not to.
That's the same thing as forfeiting the game before you've even got onto the field.
If you have any questions on the voting process, you can visit volsvote.utk.edu for more information. The last day of early voting is on October 31st, so go out and vote, because
you're not a voter until you vote.
In Knoxville, I'm Sydney Brackett, Vol News.
And if you have any questions about the upcoming election, email us at volnewstvc.com and we'll ask the experts. We've talked a lot about how the process of deciding how they will vote is stressful.
Our Maddie Romack spoke with some of these voters. Maddie, what did they say?
Well, guys, just like many of us here at Vol News, this is the first time voting for many UT students. I spoke with both an in-state and an out-of-state student to hear how their experiences have shaped their first-time voting process. For many UT students, this year's presidential election is their first time voting. and learning how to navigate the process can be a challenge.
So I feel like I've learned a lot more from doing my own research.
Carly Kaminsky, a UT in-state student, says she has spent time figuring out how to vote through her own efforts.
Like a lot of clubs and SGA and organizations like that on campus have done like tabling on PED and things like that to try to push out the information more.
While there have been efforts on campus to spread information about voting, some students still feel the university could do more.
The university as a whole could do more to help out first-time voters.
Figuring out how to vote can be hard, even for students registered in Tennessee. First-time voters need to know where to vote, what ID to bring, and what early voting is. For out-of-state students, the challenges can be even greater, as they must figure out how to cast their ballots from afar. In-state students can vote at their county polling locations. Out-of-state students have to figure out other options, such as voting by mail. A UT student from Illinois, Audrey Warda, hoped to vote by mail but missed the deadline.
I didn't really have any information to how to know when the deadline was.
Now Audrey has to drive back home to Illinois to cast her vote.
It's not super easy to get home.
Despite the challenges, both in-state and out-of-state students say they are determined to make their votes count.
Each person's vote does make a difference, so I know it's a big priority to me to go and vote.
And whether you're from Tennessee or out of state, many students agree that voting isn't just a right, it's a responsibility.
I feel like it's really important for everyone that's able to vote, because it's our responsibility, as U.S. citizens, to vote.
As UT students get ready to vote, they're finding that overcoming challenges is worth it to make their voices heard. In Knoxville, for Vol News, I'm Maddie Romack. With Election Day coming soon, make sure you know what you need to do. Whether you're voting in person or from a distance, be aware of your options so your vote counts. If you have any further voting questions, feel free to reach out to us at tvcnews@utk.edu.
Thanks, Maddie. Voting for the first time can be very intimidating, but the experts want you to know it's easier than you think. Be sure you bring your federal and state ID, and this is how you fill out your ballot. After you sign in, you'll be handed a ballot, fill it out, and take it to the scanner to cast your vote. Jordan Curtis is running for re-election to Athens City Council. He says, do your research, then get to the polls.
First and foremost, I encourage everyone to exercise your right to vote, because I think if you don't vote, you can't complain and you can't be part of the process, right? And I would just encourage voters, young voters, to look at some legitimate news sources to best inform themselves about who they may want to cast their vote for.
Visit the Go Vote Tennessee app to see where you can vote on Election Day. The Music Industry Club is only on its second year, and it's already turning heads.
I recently had the chance to attend one of their events and spoke to their leaders about what the growth means to them.
The stage behind me is host to the many sounds of the University of Tennessee's Music Industry Club. And tonight, they're kicking off spooky season with their inaugural Monstober event.
We're about a year old, a little bit over a year old on campus, and we really just wanted to cultivate the community, music industry community on campus.
Allie McNabb is a music business major and the president of the Music Industry Club. The club started in August of 2023, but with just a little over a year on campus, she says that they've made significant strides in improving their reach to students.
We are pretty new, but we did win Organization of the Year with Haslam, so we got started off on a good start last year, and we have gotten off to an even better start this year.
With 3 bands performing at the event and a costume contest for attendees, interested students were able to learn more about the club while bringing in the spirit of Halloween.
We wanted to just have a great time, have everyone on campus available to come. That's why we made it on a Wednesday night, 7 to 10, stop in, get some snacks, listen to some music, and we really just want to teach students how to promote, market, and really get the word out to people about a music event.
Violinist and vice president of the club, Emma Woodward, says that she saw this organization as an opportunity to gain more experience into the management side of the industry.
It just seemed like the perfect place to meet like-minded people that are my age, that hopefully I will work with them after I graduate.
She also shared that Mike is a career-based organization, And as vice president, she works to ensure that members get the most meaningful experiences possible.
In the last year, people have gotten internships because of Mike. They've met people they want to work with because of Mike. So that's the biggest goal, is setting people up for their future.
In Knoxville, I'm Madison Sims, Vol News.
The Music Industry Club is hosted to over 30 majors in different interests. So if you are interested but not a music major, there's still a place for you.
And if you're looking to join or have questions, you can contact President Allie McNabb at mmcnabb9@vols.utk.edu.
Luckily, Vol football had a bye this week, and while you plan your free weekend, we've got an update to see how it's going to feel outside.
Our chief weather specialist, Lauren Zering, joins us now.
Thanks, guys. Let's take a look at our temperatures right now in and around Knoxville and what the rest of the day will feel like for us. We're currently sitting at around 63 degrees here in Knoxville, feeling more like the upper 60s because of the sunny skies and lack of wind we're experiencing. Areas around us are pretty similar, with some higher elevated areas seeing slightly cooler temperatures. Temperatures will top out today at 80 degrees around 5 p.m. As you're planning the rest of your day, expect those warm temperatures in the late afternoon, transitioning into the 60s towards the evening. We'll talk about our full weekend forecast here in Knoxville later in the show. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Lauren.
And more chances have officially went into effect for CAT buses.
Our Alexis Brunson breaks down what that means for your next ride.
In August, Knoxville said goodbye to the free trolleys and welcomed a downtown connector bus in their place. And while many citizens applauded the change, some expressed concerns about lower income riders. Now, CAT has responded to their concerns with fare capping.
What fare capping allows them to do is they can pay as they go, and as soon as they hit that $30, it's free for the rest of the month.
Not only will riders not have to pay more than $30 a month or $2 a day, but for those that qualify for discounted pricing, the limit they pay is half. However, the system also changes the way people can pay.
What we're moving to, though, is cashless fare system. And what that's allow us to do is we'll not only have the mobile ticketing app, we'll also have a smart card that people can tap.
If you want to ride the bus, you now have to buy your ticket through the mobile app called Transit, or through your CAT Pay card, which can be reloaded through the web portal or in person at specific locations. All of this can be found at catbus.com/fare/catpay. In Knoxville, Alexis Brunson, Vol News.
And as of right now, until May 1st, 2025, CAT is also offering a $4 credit to anyone who purchases a CAT Pay card and registers it and creates an account. Again, you can find all of this information at catbus.com/fares/catpay.
A former Vol for life is being honored back here in his hometown. The Farragut Youth Baseball Fields will now be known as the Todd Helton Baseball Complex. The ceremony was today, where they unveiled the new sign. Growing up, Helton played baseball at the same fields before spending his entire 17-year career with the Colorado Rockies. Family members were in attendance along with community members that were excited for the announcement. T-shirts and baseball bats were handed out with the new name, and many were signed by Mr. Helton.
And one of the best rivalries in college football took place over the weekend. We were on the field capturing some of the best plays.
With basketball season right around the corner, we break down what you have to look forward to.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
He makes fun of his friend who vapes.
He would never try it.
She's into soccer.
She's on the honor roll.
She's just not the type.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way, my kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping, maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver.
and we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
We are the Tennessee Volunteers. People who create connections, push boundaries, do the research that changes lives. We've got world-class academics and championship athletics. To be the best, you gotta learn from the best. And if you wanna lead, you gotta light the way. We've got what it takes. It takes a volunteer.
Welcome back. It's been a fun week on Rocky Top as one of the greatest rivalries in college football took place over the weekend.
Now we go to Jeremy and Lauren to hear all about it.
Thanks, guys. Hello and welcome to Rocky Top Sports Report. I'm Lauren Edwards.
And I am Jeremy Knopf, bringing you up to date on all the things sports here on Rocky Top. Let's get started with a look at Vol football. Roll Vols! For the second time in 3 years, the Tennessee Vols took down the Alabama Crimson Tide in a game full of emotions. With the likes of redshirt freshman Nico Iamaleava, star running back Dylan Sampson, and the game-sealing interception by walk-on safety Will Brooks, the Big Orange defeated the number 7 Tide 24-17. This statement victory shoots the Vols up to number 7 in the AP poll, while Alabama falls down to the 15th spot. Tennessee gets a bye week for their 5-game stretch to end the regular season, starting with the Kentucky Wildcats at Neyland Stadium on the evening of November 2nd.
Get ready, Vol Nation, because basketball season is right around the corner. Let's start with our Lady Vols. Head coach Kim Caldwell says that this season they plan on pushing the pace and playing with speed. Unfortunately, senior guard Kyle Wynn will be out for the season due to an Achilles injury that occurred during preseason. But Caldwell says that the Lady Vols are learning to adapt without her. Moving on to the reigning SEC champs, the men's basketball team is looking good this preseason with head coach Rick Barnes. Barnes says the team will have a versatile style of play. JP Estrella is still out in recovery but should make an appearance at some point in the season. The Volunteers will have an exhibition game against Indiana this Sunday at the Food City Center. We were at Market Square Madness, and our own Grayson Thatcher tells you all about it.
With only a few more weeks left until basketball season, UT hosted the 3rd annual Market Square Madness event. Earl the Pearl DJ'd the event, and people were lined up against the barriers 2 hours before to get a sneak peek at this year's basketball teams. Fans took photos with Smokey and members of the Spirit Squads. With the excitement of seeing the teams, fans are ready for this season.
Because we're going to win it all this year.
Because we get new players, and I'm pretty sure we're going to be really good.
All the money, all the transfers. Go Vols!
This season is looking a bit different for the men's, with Sakai Ziegler being the only returning starter, making him a fan favorite.
He's good at basketball. He's good at basketball, yeah. That's just it. And he's really nice to his fans.
Fans also had the opportunity to play on the court with the team. The Vols will start their season in just a few weeks.
In Knoxville, I'm Grayson Thatcher, Vol News.
The Lady Volunteers volleyball team are getting back on track. This past Sunday, the Tennessee volleyball team took down the 25th ranked Auburn Tigers in a final score of 3-1. Caroline Kerr set the pace for the Lady Vols with 27 assists and 17 digs. This victory improves their record to 10-7 on the year and 3-4 in SEC conference play. The Lady Vols are looking to ride this momentum into Friday when they square up against the number 24 Florida Gators in Gainesville.
Our Lady Vols soccer team fought hard last night against the South Carolina Gamecocks and tied 1-1. The Gamecocks took the opening goal in the first half, but the Lady Vols equalized in the last 3 minutes when Mac Midgley scored. The Gamecocks had an opportunity to seal the win, but goalie Ali Zazera had a diving save. Zazera was also named on the 2024 SEC Community Service Team. That's all we have for you this week.
Thanks for tuning in.
Now back to Kyla and Madison.
Thank you, guys. Last week, we told you about how the Vol Shop is helping raise money for Hurricane Helene. We've got you all covered for the number for you.
And we spoke to the student that dedicates her time to making the Rock look as good as the team on the field.
Whether it's our stories, the warmth of our laugh, or our family's secret sauce, we all bring something different to the table. So make some space. The power of connection is waiting right outside your comfort zone. Learn how you can help strengthen your community at belongingbeginswithus.org/teamup.
Be right there.
Wait. Use the shovel and bucket of water, remember? Drown, stir, drown, feel. Then make sure it's cool.
Where'd you learn that?
SmokeyBear.com. Brushed up on some tips before we left. Don't want to start a wildfire, right?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
We are the Tennessee Volunteers. People who create connections, push boundaries, do the research that changes lives. We got world-class academics and championship athletics. To be the best, you gotta learn from the best. And if you wanna lead, you gotta light the way. We've got what it takes. It takes a volunteer.
Hey Vols, let's talk about our forecast here in Knoxville this weekend. The rest of today should be mostly sunny with temperatures reaching the low 80s and dropping to the upper 50s in the evening. Saturday will bring us some clouds, more so in the late afternoon. Our morning, however, should have some moments of sunshine. Temperatures tomorrow will reach highs in the mid-70s and lows in the upper 40s. Sunday will hopefully cool off for us a little bit. Temperatures should top out in the upper 60s and get down to around 44 degrees. Cloudy skies will clear up towards the evening, leaving us with mostly clear skies for Sunday night. That's all the weather I have for you this weekend. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Lauren. And you've probably seen the Mountain Strong shirts in the Vol Shop recently as part of a successful initiative to support victims of Hurricane Helene. According to Athletics, over $200,000 has been raised through this effort, and all of that money is going to help victims of the hurricane in East Tennessee. According to Assistant Marketing Director Corey Ham, the Vol Shop is proud to be a part of this initiative.
It's really great to be a part of just that whole community and culture where giving back is like encouraged and you're empowered and all that to do so.
If you would still like to buy Mountain Strong merch to support Hurricane Helene victims, you can find them in 3 of the Vol Shops surrounding campus, Alumni Hall, and online. Have you ever wondered who paints the murals you see on the Rock for the game days?
Our Kylie Atchison met the artist.
Meet Chloe Peterson, a junior kinesiology major from Lenore City, Tennessee. Peterson is a muralist, chalk artist, and creator with many passions.
I have 2 loves. So my mom was in the medical field growing up, and I've always enjoyed it. I've known a lot about it for a really long time. Muraling is not sustainable. And while I'm very good at it and I've made a career for myself, it's not something that's convenient all the time. So having a degree to say that I'm educated and that I can be successful in not just one but 2 worlds is something that really matters to me.
Peterson does commissioned work for SEC Network, the Predators, and other organizations on campus. However, some of her work is just for her own enjoyment.
I paint out of my own pocket. I purchase all the paint. I've never once asked the university for $1 because if they paid me, they'd have to pay everybody else, and that's not fair. However, this is free advertisement for me, so I take it with a grace that it is, and I enjoy it.
These murals take 8+ hours every week with the help of 2 or 3 people. One of her helpers, Ashley Chung, has been with her since the beginning.
To be a part of something like this is pretty significant because everyone loves it, everyone gets to see it. It's when someone says, "You paint the rock?" Yeah, I paint the rock with Chloe.
Peterson says to her, it's more than a mural.
I will come here during football games, dressed up, people have no idea it's me, and I will watch because I really enjoy getting to see people enjoy it because that's what it's here for. Go Vols, and if you get around to it, paint the rock.
From Knoxville, Kylie Atchison, Vol News.
The next time you see the rock painted for game days, remember to think Chloe Peterson.
Kylie, how can we follow and support Chloe?
You can follow Chloe on Instagram at CloArtCo, and you can find a GoFundMe link in her bio if you want to support her funds for paint needed to continue.
Thanks, Kylie. She does a great job painting the rock. I could never do that. Students on campus are trading in their study time for art lessons at the International House for Italian Art Day.
Our Clarissa De La Cruz tells us more.
Here at the International House for Italian Art Day, students are getting hands-on with watercolor and history. Local renowned artist Annie Rochelle is sharing her love for Italian art, all while guiding students with their own creative projects. Students at the University of Tennessee grabbed some paintbrushes for Italian Art Day at the iHouse. The event featured local renowned artist Annie Rochelle, who studied restoration and conservation in Florence, Italy. Rochelle applied what she learned abroad to teach students new art techniques to use in their own watercolor projects.
I was really excited about being able to show the influence of my work directly. I've talked about my work in the past to people describing the source imagery, describing the works from Italian Renaissance, but it's nice to be able to show the side-by-side between my works and how they relate to the works from Italian art history, but also how they differ.
The event was proven a success as students got to use their own creativity. Renee D'Elia Zunino, Italian course manager and advisor for Italian Club, also discusses the importance of these events for Italian students at UTK.
The idea is to create events for our Italian students that are experiential, and we do study in our classes not only the language but the culture, and part of the culture, of course, is art.
Annie Rochelle's art can be seen at Rolla in Knoxville, and for more information on getting involved with Italian Club, visit italclub.utk.edu. In Knoxville, Tennessee, Clarissa De La Cruz, Vol News.
Attend a vintage market around campus and you might see a student vendor or two reselling clothes that they've thrifted.
Our Aubrey Curran takes us to a student who took this hobby a step further.
Giro Greenberg-Oster doesn't just buy and resell vintage clothes. He remakes them.
I would just scroll through TikTok kind of rotting, and I saw this one guy who was doing stuff like this, and I thought about it and I was like, I could totally do this, it can't be that hard.
So it started with a few pieces, and then he gradually saw some progress, like some people buying it, people liking it, attraction, and then it slowly began from this hobby to this business of his that he could actually grow and perform a platform off of.
From hobby to business, Giro began selling online and at vintage markets.
I think my friends would just see me in passing, or I'd kind of flex it on Instagram a little bit, and then a lot of people were just like, that's so cool, I'd totally buy something off you.
Business students like Charlie Tisdale love to support.
They're taking their time out of their day to do something they like. They're not always making huge profits or big money on the stuff that they're selling, but they enjoy giving clothes out to other people, so I like to come and support.
But why vintage clothes specifically?
I think it's cool. All these clothes that are vintage have been around for a super long time, and they're probably older than I am and a lot of other people, and there's a lot of personality in it.
In Knoxville, Aubrey Curran, Vol News.
To support Gyro or to buy some of his vintage pieces, you can follow him on Instagram at Vegas Apparel.
That's all we have for us today. Thank you so much for watching Vol News. I'm Kyla Berry.
And I'm Madison Sims. We won't be here next week, but be sure to tune in to our live election show Tuesday, November 5th.
We'll be live from 10:30 to 11:30. Until then, have a great weekend and go Vols.